Mark McConkey. Are you going home to Calgary for Christmas, or what are you doing?
No, we're staying here and not doing much, and I'm looking forward to it.
You came through on that big population wave that came from Alberta in 2007 when you started with the Rams. And right now I know you're out on the recruiting roads looking for players. What does life for you look like after the holidays, like January, February, when you're pounding the pavement?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I kind of learned as a head coach, and obviously my wife learned as well, is like as soon as the season ends, it's kind of done for majority of the coaches on our staff, and then the full-time guys get right to work. Like we lost the Hardy Cup this year to UVS on Saturday. Sunday, all day, I was busy recruiting, setting up visits, and it's pretty much been go, go, go until literally this week, and then we start our recruiting blackout tonight, actually, at midnight. So nice little break here. Then come January 5th, we're right back at it. So I got visits coming in pretty much every weekend up until probably February 10th or so, and then we should be pretty much done our recruiting class, and then we're bit of a month off there, then on to the next year in March.
Do you go into a recruiting blackout, or is that just how it is in February?
No, that's just how it is. Yeah, so we have a blackout in like tonight for about 3 weeks, and then we have one in July. There's an East-West one. February is usually kind of like we're wrapping up. There's always going to be recruiting. You're always recruiting, but the majority of it will be done by February 6th.
Richie Hall was once offered an assistant coaching job at the University of California with the Golden Bears under Jeff Tedford, and he chose to stay with the Rough Riders for what Danny Barrett estimated would be about a third of what he would have made if he had gone to California. That was almost 20 years ago, so I saw Richie at the Combine last year, and I asked him all about that, and he said the thing that freaked him out about it was the recruiting schedule in the offseason. So when I was going to talk to you about this, I thought, well, it's a little different down there, but from the way you're making it sound, it doesn't sound like it's a lot different, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's a little bit more elevated down there, but they also have more people. And again, we met with a couple staff members at Texas A&M last year in the offseason to see how they recruit. And their recruiting department is just, it's a little bit bigger than myself and Coach Anderson that we have here. They got like 25 student interns and then all the coaches that are full-time. And yeah, it's a different beast down there for sure. But again, we're all putting in the hours, pounding the pavement, trying to convince players to come to our institution and play for whatever team you're coaching.
We had a lot of fun a couple weeks ago at the U of R Rams Football Awards Banquet. And of course, 620 CKRM is the only terrestrial radio station that still does Canada West football. We're still very happy to do that, and we love doing the Ram broadcasts every fall. And we were lucky to sponsor and present the MVP award to Marshall Erickson, your running back. There he is. I can tell you the guy on the right did a lot more work to get in that photo than the guy on the left. But I almost wonder if the award is cursed, because last year we gave it to Jackson Somback and his arm was in a sling, and this year we gave it to Marshall and he was on crutches, but I know he's excited about coming back after the injury. I was looking at the you had all the All-Stars. There were 11 Canada West All-Stars, and 9 of them, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 9 are eligible to return. Are you expecting to lose some of them to other things, be it opportunities or to the Canadian Football League draft? Have you really thought that through and come up with a projection in your mind as to how many of those star players are going to be part of your team in 26?
Yeah, I'd say majority of them are back. Like, we're going to lose a few to graduation that we just know about, like Riley Schick, some of those ones. But an example would be Ethan Graham, right? He was a Canada West All-Star. He's going into his draft year this year. He will get drafted. It's just a matter of will he come back or not, or will the team send him back? So we're always planning on him coming back. And obviously, if he makes it, we're pumped for him, happy for him. But you just never really know, and that's why it's hard for roster management at this level, because you just never know. And then you got the academic side of things on top of it. And then you get players and their personal lives, what's going on. So you just really never know. So it's always kind of like a ballpark number of where you're aiming for and how many guys you want and want to go after.
So you lose 2 of your starting offensive linemen for sure to graduation. Nick Mikowski at the 1 guard spot, Riley Schick, really good player at the center spot. But you kind of built a luxury when Nate Boyd had to step in, and you had 3 very capable tackles throughout the season. You might lose the one with Ethan Graham, but the one that's most intriguing to me would be Connor Klassen, who was drafted by the BC Lions last year, and I think he blew out his knee, if I'm not mistaken, and he was with your program all year, and he told me if things don't work out with the Lions, he'd love to come back for his senior year with the Rams, and it got me thinking about that center position. Maybe a young prospect might show a CFL team that he's versatile and can play different positions if he plays center. Has that thought crept in? Is that a possibility if you get Connor Klassen back next year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything's on the table, especially right now. We're in December, January. We kind of restart everything, what we're doing, what we're about, what do we want to run on offense, who's playing where. And actually, like, the scary part is, like, our line actually might get better from last year. And again, it's hard to replace Schick and Mikowski, but we get Connor Klassen back, who was a starter for us, who got drafted. And a young guy that we had high hopes for but got hurt in week 1 is Davin Barry. Hurt his shoulder, out for the year. So we lost a few key pieces early on, and so we're excited to see what the O-line looks like next year. I don't think they'll miss a step, and we just got to keep building and try to win another Hardy Cup and get back into the big dance.
I get the sense that you have plenty of star power coming back, regardless of, if whatever happens with Ethan or any of the other players. When you think about who you're going to replace, it's more of the heart and soul guys. We talked about Riley Schick. I even think about like Emmett Stedman and Ryland Sokol. I mean, those guys are not necessarily star players, but there they were in the Hardy Cup making clutch catches when you needed them the most, giving you a fighting chance at the end. I think about Chopper Hippie, who was clutch all year. I feel like you're not so much you're losing some star power, but you can live without. It's the heart and soul that you're going to have to replace in 26. Is that a fair take?
Absolutely, yeah, and especially in the receiver room, like losing Sokol and Stedman, like those guys are fifth-year guys. They've been here for a while. Just the way they approach the game, they're process-driven, the way they practice and lead. So we'll definitely miss their leadership. Yeah, we've got some young guys that are good football players that will be able to replace those guys, but just that leadership, sometimes that's hard to replace. And like you said, the same thing would go for guys like Dekinowicz and Chopper on the defensive side of the ball. So we're ready to replace them. We're ready. I mean, that's how it goes in this. You can't keep them forever. And now we're ready to go. But the majority of those guys that were all-stars and majority of the players that played last year are coming back. So we're excited for 2026.
Especially with your quarterback. I hadn't seen much of Owen Sieben because he was concussed the first game that I broadcast. And it really wasn't until the game in Edmonton late in the season when I started to say, oh my goodness, I see what people are talking about. Just the way he ad-libs and plays break down. And I remember he hit, for those of you who don't follow the Rams, Christian Katendi's kind of a ground and pound running back. And he was hit with like a 15-yard pass. And it was almost like, oh my God, it's coming to me. I've got to catch this. And he would catch it. And it was a big play. Do you feel like Owen is cranked all the way back up to where he needed to be entering his final 2 years of eligibility?
Yeah, I think he played great. And obviously, 2024, tough year for him after winning the Rookie of the Year in 2023. Had to miss the whole season. And then this year, kind of coming back from injury, went with Pelche for the first half of the season. And then he just got better and better as the year went on. And even in the Hardy Cup, I know it was a tough loss for us, but I thought he was one of our better players. Did a really good job protecting the football. There's a few that he's going to want back, but he made some throws that not a lot of quarterbacks in this league can make. So he gave us a chance to win there. And we're excited to keep building off of that with him for his final 2 years with us.
One thing I'm always curious about, the games at Leibel are lots of fun, but we do have this new stadium, best football stadium in Canada. I know it's almost 10 years old, still feels like it's brand new. And years ago, I was told by somebody that it's a good recruiting tool for the Thunder, and I suspect it's a good recruiting tool for the Rams. Now, I never asked any of your out-of-province star recruits about this, but I was talking to Nick Sirleaf one day, and he said, yeah, I played a little bit in his decision to want to play here. While you're out on the recruiting season, do you find that matters when you're talking to a kid from Alberta or BC trying to convince him to come to Regina and play for your program?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every recruit's a little bit different. Some it's more purely academic based. Some it's head coach, OC based scheme, like where they're going to fit, playing time. Some it's scholarship. But yeah, sometimes the stadium's exciting. I remember talking to Nick. He was pretty excited about playing it because he wants to play pro, and he's like, why not play in a pro stadium? But then some guys like the smaller stadiums like Leibel, like even some of our guys, our team's kind of split. Half like Mosaic, half like Leibel because you get a better atmosphere, smaller venue, so it just seems more packed. But half of them like Mosaic because it's just a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger, more of that pro style. So everyone's different for sure, and we obviously always bring it up. We give them a tour of it, both Leibel and Mosaic, because we do end up playing at both spots. So it definitely can be for sure advantageous for us.
I was covering the Vanier Cup for Canadian Press, and I was down on the field when they were doing the trophy presentation to the Carabins, and I looked around and I saw some of your staff members who were watching this celebration, and it kind of reminded me of, and this is maybe not a very good comparison, but it's like when you have this, you've cooked this pizza and it smells so good, and your dog is looking up at you and they're watching you eat this pizza. That's what I felt like it looked like, you know, your staffers watching this. Did it feel like you were watching somebody in your house using your kitchen and your equipment, making some delicious pizza and then eating it while you had to sit there and watch?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a shout out to the Vanier committee. They put a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears into putting on a great event. And you've heard from U Sports, like they definitely want to do it here again. I don't know if we want to as a university, but they just did an outstanding job, and no matter who was in it, we knew they were going to do a good job hosting it. And yeah, they were grinding all week, making sure it was right for both teams, the Huskies and the Caravan. And yeah, I mean, ultimately it was tough seeing U of S in it. We knew we were so close, and we knew we could have been in there. And but at the end of the day, they did a great job putting on a great show. And yeah, like it would have been nice for us to be in it too. But again, we got a lot of work to do to get better and make sure we give ourselves a chance to play no matter where it is. But yeah, there's a little bit of I don't know the right word to say, but yeah, so it would have been nice to be in it for sure.
I felt like it would have been more salt in the wounds if you had to watch the Huskies celebrate on your own home turf. But is that part of what's building a program? Is the fact that like this is, I've looked it up because I find U Sport football really fascinating. There's 27 teams. There's so many different storylines. 6 of them have never been in a Vanier Cup, and 3 of them have been to a Vanier Cup and have never won. And that's your program. Is that part of the evolution of building to a team that really fights for a championship, is having to go through an experience like that where you're disappointed that you're not there on that field?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every loss is a learning, right? You can learn from every loss, even every win. And even we learned a lot about ourselves and our program in 2024, getting to the Mitchell Bowl, again, 3 points away from going to the Vanier. And then this year, again, up in the Hardy Cup, just couldn't finish it off. So we're knocking on the door, and these things take time. I mean, you look at like the great Greg Marshall just retired yesterday from Western. He's been knocking on the door forever, and he finally punched through and won Calgary from 09 to 19. They were in so many Vanier Cups and so many Mitchell Bowls, but could never win it. Like it's a hard trophy to win. It's a competitive conference. Then you got to play 2 hard playoff games, and then you're in the national semi. And then you got to win once. You got to win 4. So it's hard to win at this level, and there's not a lot of parity across U Sports. I mean, in Canada West there is. So some teams have a bit of an easier schedule than we do, but we're in the thick of it in Can West, which we love. It's hard to do, but it's a challenge that we look forward to, and we're going to keep striving and knock it on the door. Even just being in back-to-back Hardy Cups was a big win for us, and now we want to be in 3 in a row, which has never been done in our program. So we're close. We just got to keep pushing, keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully one day in the near future we can host that Vanier Cup.
Real quick before I let you go, has anyone on your staff indicated they won't be back in the 26th season?
Yeah, no, everything's looking good, and that's one thing that I'm really proud of our guys is we're very consistent. We got great volunteer coaches, so the more consistent you can keep it, the better off we are. And yeah, we're just looking forward to another exciting year.
Glad to hear it. Congrats on a great season. I know the games were a lot of fun to watch and to broadcast. Merry Christmas, enjoy the holidays, and we'll talk to you again in the new year.
Sounds good. Yeah, I appreciate all the work you do for the radio and the program, and yeah, have a great holiday.